Good afternoon, my lovely followers. It's your queen, Tara. We are back with another video. I don't know if this video is going to have one specific topic. I think I'm just going to rant about like a number of things that are currently happening in the world that I find interesting. As we watch this draconian empire, we watch the Pax Americana slowly come to an end. I have some interesting things to talk about today. And I think I'd like to begin in Minnesota, where the protests are continuing against the Gestapo. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard about this, but evidently the anti-ICE protesters stormed a church. They stormed one of the churches in Minnesota. I don't really know much about this church. I don't know if it's a right-wing church, like I presume it is, since like most churches are right-wing. But I'm just gonna presume it's a right-wing church. I could be wrong about that, so bear with me. I could be wrong. But like, anti-ICE protesters stormed a church. They did. And yeah, of course, the Fox News people and the right-wing hypocrites are all up in arms. And they want them charged. Yeah, they're siding against the protesters. You know, they want them put in jail. Because they were loud. Because they disrupted a church service, you know? Because they were loud and somewhat annoying. And therefore, according to the average conservative, smooth brain Fox News viewer, these people apparently deserve to be put in prison for that. For daring to protest too loudly. And in the wrong place. And meanwhile, while the conservative hypocrites are ignoring everything ICE has done, how they have executed Renee Good in broad daylight for the world to see, they have repeatedly assaulted American citizens, including a young man who worked at Target, who was assaulted by ICE and briefly kidnapped by ICE. He was a U.S. citizen, and once the fascist Gestapo thugs, realized that they were holding a U.S. citizen hostage, they let him go. They let him go after they brutalized him. After they threw him face first into the pavement and assaulted him and kidnapped him, they just let him go. And these people will not be held accountable. They will not be punished for their actions. They have blanket immunity. They can do whatever they want. On the flip side, if you or I assault someone or try to kidnap someone, guess what? We're going to jail. We're going to jail, but not the ICE fascists. Not the Gestapo. The Gestapo pigs have a blank check to do whatever they feel is necessary to anybody, whether they be illegal or legal. They have a blank check to go rough people up and get away with it. To go harass and assault and intimidate American citizens. That's what they have. They have a blank check. We have the literal Gestapo running around, and the problem is going to get worse because, I have news lately that the Gestapo will soon... No, they're already invading. They are now going to be invading the state of Maine. That will be their next target. The next target these people pick will be Maine. They're already there. They've already made at least 50 arrests, according to some reports. They are in Maine. And it's only a matter of time before they start to terrorize the citizens of Maine. And I imagine that the feckless, weak Democrat governor of Maine, the do-nothing Dems, the fake leftists, who, they talk about being leftist, but when the push comes to shove, and they need to actually speak out against American citizens being assaulted and terrorized, then they're silent. They're suddenly silent. They're suddenly okay. They're going to bow down and spread their cheeks for the Republicans. And allow their citizens to be harassed and abused. ICE is getting worse. The Gestapo is on the move. And they're going to continue. They're going to continue to deploy across this country. And have blanket immunity. They have blanket immunity. And our corrupt legal system that is run by the elites, that is run by the oligarchs, is going to support them. We're done. Like, we are a police state. Like, to the people who still support Donald Trump are just completely retarded at this point. They are. If you still support him, you're retarded. For real. He has broken his promise to you repeatedly. Stop believing him. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Like, if you still continue to support him and carry water for him and defend him, then you are responsible for this. There was a time when I could accept Trump supporters. When it didn't seem that bad, when he seemed reasonable, when he was still trying to pretend that he was different than all the other corrupt politicians, than all the other corrupt scumbags who currently occupy Washington, D.C. on both sides of the aisle. But he's not. He's worse. He's actually worse. He is worse than the Democrats. He's worse than Joe Biden. He's worse than even Kamala. He is worse than all the people he claimed he was gonna bring to justice. He claimed he was gonna drain the swamp. Well, he has not done that. He has not done that at all. Like, I thought his first term was lackluster. I thought so. But his first term looks good compared to what he's done now. He has done a complete 180. He's a traitor. And if you still support him, you still cheerlead for him, you still fly your little MAGA flag and wear your stupid hat, then you're retarded and you deserve whatever happens to you as a result of his policies. You deserve, if you become poor because the economy fails, because the man you elected put in place, blah, 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 blah. I can't talk today. Because the man you elected voted for policies that are bad for Americans, that only support the billionaire class and the 1%, then you deserve it. You deserve to be poor. You deserve to suffer whatever you suffer economically. And I don't pity you. I don't. Okay, let's move on to the next topic in this discussion. We've covered ICE. I think the next thing I like to cover is Iran. We're going to talk about Iran some more. Specifically, the fact that China has agreed to a massive arms sale to Iran. China has agreed to a massive arms deal. They will be selling... This is covered on Jimmy Dore. Like, for more information, I'd encourage my lovely followers to look at Jimmy Dore. He covered this. I learned about it this morning. And I just wanted to share that with you. What I learned, that China is doing an arms deal with Iran. And as an avid supporter of BRICS, the BRICS Alliance, I gotta say, this is a step in the right direction. It is refreshing. It is deeply refreshing to finally see a nation with the balls to stand up to the world bully. It is deeply refreshing. And as an avid BRICS supporter, I'm very happy. I applaud their move. Like I am an avid BRICS supporter. Dethroning the dollar has to be one of our biggest priorities. Because, as I've said before, the dollar holds up this empire. If the dollar loses its world reserve currency status, the empire collapses. And the world is rejecting America. Especially if Donald Trump invades Greenland. As I mentioned last time, I think an annexation of Greenland will be the straw that breaks the eagle's back. That's what I think. I think it will finally make Europe realize that the world bully is the problem, not Russia. That NATO is the problem. That their aggressive expansion and violation of their deal, the deal that I mentioned in previous videos, where at the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO agreed to not expand past a certain point. They agreed not to expand. That is why the Soviet Union would collapse. It was part of their deal. That if the Soviet Union dissolves itself, then NATO will not expand. That there will be a buffer zone between Russia and the rest of Europe. NATO have broken that deal time and time again. NATO are the aggressors. Regardless of what the media might say, regardless of what the paid-off Fox News corrupt media might say, NATO is the aggressor, not Russia. And NATO is being controlled by America. It's being steered by the military-industrial complex. Honestly, the annexation of Greenland might actually turn out to be a good thing. Because it'll finally force the European people to wake up to who the real problem is. And it's not Russia. It's America. It has always been America. The world bully has terrorized the rest of the world since the end of World War II. And if we're honest, we have to recognize that America is the problem. They've always been the problem. It's just that we have a whole country. Honestly, half our country is retarded, and the other half is not far behind. We got a lot of stupid people out there, who do not realize the reality they live in. On both sides of the aisle, the stupid people who do not realize, who refuse to acknowledge that the USA is the bad guy. I just think that China giving Iran the means to defend itself against American aggression it's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. It is a middle finger to the world bully and the oligarchs who are trying to cause World War III. The fascist oligarchs in Washington. The same oligarchs who are constantly punching down at minority groups such as transgender people and trying to curtail their rights as a distraction from their own failures. That's what this is. That's what the whole culture war is. The culture war is a manufactured distraction from the fact that the fascists in Washington are failing. Their empire is crumbling. They are losing with each passing day. They lose power. And they are one mistake away from, one blunder away from completely losing their standing in the world. Our allies are turning on us. They are turning towards China. They're turning towards other countries. Even Israel, even our so-called best friend, is probably going to end up turning on us. They're gonna... I think Israel could be a potential superpower in the future. I think we're going to lose the Pax Americana and enter the Pax Judaica. The Pax Judaica, we'll have to discuss that in another video because that's a lengthy subject. I heard an excellent lecture on it the other day. I'll post the lecture in my anti-Zionist playlist when I get a chance, so my lovely followers can listen to it for themselves. But I heard an excellent lecture on the Pax Judaica the other day, and I plan on listening to more stuff about it. But that's the future, that Israel is going to become a superpower, and it probably will, especially if Iran falls. Israel will control the entire Middle East. They will be in a position to benefit. They will be a world superpower, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate because they do not deserve that. Like, they're a nation built on genocide and theft. But they're going to become a world superpower in the future, potentially. The Pax Judaica. And Israel is going to end up betraying America. That's what they do. They're the parasite class. Like, they're a parasitic nation. They use bigger countries. They use them to make themselves powerful, and then they abandon them. Then they turn on them. They're a parasite. They're a parasitic. They have a parasitic relationship with bigger countries. Even though America, under the current boomer evangelical Zionist leadership, would do almost anything for Israel, Israel does not feel the same way about America. Israel does not feel the same way. They would betray us in a second if it benefited them to do so. Israel only cares about one thing: itself. They do not care about you or I or anything else. They only care about themselves. Alright. I think I'm going to bring this to a close pretty soon. I don't really have anything else to discuss today. I think I covered all the interesting things that are happening. I tried to not have as many awkward pauses in this video as I normally do. I'm trying to work on that and give you guys better content. I say that, but then I have an awkward pause. Like, okay, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. I don't really have anything to discuss today. I don't know what we'll discuss tomorrow. It'll definitely be fun. Like, I'll try to make it fun, whatever we do, because it's going to be Friday. It's going to be TGIF. And I always try to give you guys something fun on Friday, you know? So anyway, I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Thank you for your support, especially if you watched to the end. Thank you for that. Please like and subscribe and all that streamer stuff. And we're off.